Hey guys, Kayla here, taking up a visitor spot on the Horoscope 101 channel. This is an awesome channel and I want to thank you guys for letting me come on here and do a little review. So this week is the week of vampires, and the movie that I watched to review would be the John Carpenter's Vampires, and obviously directed by John Carpenter. It's from 1998, and James Woods plays Jack Crow. He's the master slayer in this movie. He's like kind of the boss of the Slayer gang, and which also includes Daniel Baldwin. They call him Montoya in this movie. Yeah, and then Cheryl Lee, she's a prostitute. Her name's Katrina, and Thomas Ian Griffith plays the big, well, this guy right here, the big master vampire Valak. And so the scene opens up with Jack and his team taking down a house which they call a nest of vampires, and they're in search for the master. They want to kill the master. And typical vampire killings, you got stake through the heart and sunlight kills them. But Jack makes a funny thing about saying that you know, it's not like what you see in the movies. Garlic and crucifixes don't work. It's just stake through the heart and sunlight. So yeah, funny thing too, it seems they used like high powered, you know, weapons. The whole bow, the bow shooter gun thingy, it just almost looked too space age, I think, for the time of this movie, or just the setting. To me anyways, it just looked really out of place. But yeah, they had this you know, huge bow and arrow gun that the arrow was hooked up to a winch, and that's how they dragged them out into the sunlight. But yeah, so you know, after getting back from killing all the vampires in that house, they end up having a party at a motel, and it's just filled with prostitutes, and that's where Katrina comes in, and she kind of flirts with Jack, and he gives her his hotel room key. And so when she goes back to the room, she's actually attacked by Valak. He ended up following them, and you know, he bites her, but he keeps her alive. So when Jack finds her and sees that she's been bitten, he knows it's by the master vampire. So he keeps her around because it's known that if you're bitten by a master vampire, then he can communicate with you through telepathic, like a telepathic link. So he keeps her around and kind of uses her as a surveillance because they need to find him. He finds out that Valak was created by the church through some really bad Catholic exorcism, and basically Valak's out to search for this black cross that apparently can finish his exorcism and allow him to walk in the daylight. So they need to find him and other vampires before he gets to that and goes through with it. And yeah, so the Slayers need to stop him. This is the second time I've watched this. I remember when it first came out, actually, and I remember everyone actually really enjoyed this movie. Like, it was a really good vampire movie for my age group at that time anyways. But the second watch, I found myself kind of picking it apart a little bit. It's you know, it seemed the vampires were kind of throwing the humans away instead of actually eating them. You know, they didn't look like they were interested in actually drinking their blood. And it was funny because when the few that did, they just kind of left their mouth open, and it was all full of blood, but they let it all drain down their chin. So I mean, they weren't drinking the blood. And the fighting was, I felt, a little weak. Like, you can see that they're waiting for the next move to make it look like, you know, it's just too well scripted. where you can see it is too slow or whatever, you know what I mean? So anyways, but as for vampire movies, out of focus, you know, I did enjoy this movie. This movie still does it for me when it comes to vampires. It's not too gory. So yeah, I reviewed vampires, and so again, thank you guys for letting me sit in a visitor spot, and I look forward to your next week's videos. See you later.